Have you ever had one of those afternoons where the energy just seems to drain right out of you? You're not necessarily tired from a bad night's sleep, but around 2 or 3 o'clock, your eyelids feel heavy, your brain feels fuzzy, and you'd give just about anything for a nap. Or maybe you've noticed that no matter how much water you drink, your mouth still feels dry, and you're making more trips to the bathroom than you used to. Perhaps you've even experienced that frustrating moment when your vision blurs for no apparent reason, then clears up just as quickly. It's so easy to dismiss these things, isn't it? We blame them on aging, on the weather, on not drinking enough coffee. We tell ourselves, well, this is just what getting older feels like. But what if I told you that these seemingly unrelated experiences might actually be connected? What if they're not just random signs of aging, but quiet messages from your body about something happening deep inside? Today, I want to talk about something that affects more of us than we realize: blood sugar. Not just for those who've been diagnosed with diabetes, but for everyone. Because the truth is, blood sugar imbalances don't happen overnight. They creep up slowly, silently, over years. And by the time there's a diagnosis, the body has often been sending signals for a very long time. Signals we simply didn't know how to read. So let's learn to read them together. We're going to explore 4 silent signs that your blood sugar might be running higher than it should. And just as importantly, we're going to talk about what you can eat, delicious, normal, everyday foods, to help bring it back into balance. This isn't about deprivation or extreme diets. It's about understanding your body's language and responding with kindness and wisdom. Let's start with the first silent sign, and it's one that probably sounds very familiar: the afternoon energy crash that no amount of coffee can fix. You have a reasonable breakfast, maybe some toast or cereal. You have a sensible lunch, perhaps a sandwich or a bowl of soup. And then, like clockwork, somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m., you hit a wall. Your energy plummets. Your concentration scatters. You might even feel a little shaky or irritable. If this sounds like you, here's what's likely happening. When you eat a meal that's heavy in refined carbohydrates, think white bread, pasta, rice, sugary snacks, even fruit juice, your body breaks those carbs down into sugar very quickly. That sugar enters your bloodstream rapidly, causing a sharp spike. Your pancreas then releases a surge of insulin to move that sugar out of your blood and into your cells for energy. But sometimes, especially as we get older and our cells become less responsive to insulin, the pancreas overcompensates. It releases too much insulin, which clears too much sugar from your blood. The result? A dramatic crash. Your blood sugar drops below normal levels, and suddenly you feel exhausted, foggy, and desperate for another quick hit of sugar or caffeine to bring you back up. This cycle, spike, crash, is exhausting for your body. It puts enormous stress on your pancreas, your adrenal glands, and your blood vessels. Over time, it can lead to insulin resistance, weight gain around the middle, and eventually, chronically high blood sugar. The good news is that you can break this cycle with one simple shift at mealtime. Pair your carbohydrates with protein, fat, or fiber. Every single time. That sandwich at lunch? Make it on whole grain bread and add turkey or chicken for protein. That bowl of soup? Choose one with beans or lentils, or have a hard-boiled egg on the side. That apple for a snack? Slather it with peanut butter. The protein, fat, and fiber slow down the digestion of those carbohydrates, preventing that rapid spike and the subsequent crash. Your energy stays steady. Your brain stays clear. And your body breathes a sigh of relief. Now, let's move to the second silent sign, and it's one that often gets dismissed as just a quirk or a bad habit: unexplained cravings for sweets, especially after meals. Have you ever finished a perfectly satisfying dinner and then found yourself wandering into the kitchen, looking for something sweet? Not because you're hungry, but because something in your brain is whispering, you need dessert. You deserve it. Just a little something. This isn't a moral failing or a lack of willpower. It's a physiological signal. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When your blood sugar is unstable, your body craves quick energy to bring it back into balance. And the quickest energy available is sugar. But there's more to it. After a meal, if your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, that crash triggers hunger hormones. Your brain interprets that dip as we need fuel, and specifically asks for the fastest fuel it knows, sugar or simple carbohydrates. Additionally, cravings can be a sign that your cells aren't getting the energy they need. If insulin isn't working efficiently, if your cells are resistant to its signal, then even though there's plenty of sugar in your blood, it's not getting inside your cells where it can be used. Your cells are essentially starving in the midst of plenty, and they send out desperate signals for more energy, which your brain interprets as sugar cravings. The fix here is twofold. First, we stabilize those meals with protein, fat, and fiber, just like we talked about. Second, we look at specific nutrients that support healthy blood sugar regulation. One of the most powerful is a mineral called chromium. Chromium helps insulin do its job more effectively, improving your cell's sensitivity to its signal. Good food sources of chromium include broccoli, green beans, whole grains, nuts, and egg yolks. Simply adding more of these foods to your plate can help quiet those persistent sugar cravings over time. And if you do want something sweet after a meal, choose wisely. A small piece of dark chocolate, a handful of berries, or a few bites of fruit have fiber and antioxidants that blunt the blood sugar impact. Your body gets the sweetness it's asking for without the punishing spike and crash that follows a piece of cake or a cookie. We've covered two silent signs now, the afternoon energy crash and those persistent sugar cravings. Both are your body's way of telling you that your blood sugar is on a roller coaster it wasn't designed to ride. But there are two more signs, equally important and equally overlooked. One involves your bladder, and the other involves your eyes. And understanding these two can make all the difference in catching imbalances before they become something more serious. Let's move on to the third silent sign, and this one often gets dismissed as just another inconvenience of getting older. I'm talking about frequent urination, especially waking up multiple times during the night. Now, I know this is a sensitive topic. Many of us have just accepted that after a certain age, we're going to be up 2, 3, maybe 4 times a night making trips to the bathroom. We blame it on our bladders, on our prostates, on having had children years ago. And yes, those things can play a role. But there's another common culprit that often goes unnoticed: high blood sugar. Here's the mechanism. When your blood sugar levels are consistently elevated, your kidneys go into overdrive. They're trying desperately to filter all that excess sugar out of your blood. But sugar is sticky, and it pulls water along with it. So your kidneys start flushing out that sugar along with large amounts of fluid. This is why increased thirst and increased urination often go hand in hand. Your body is literally trying to dilute and eliminate the excess sugar through your urine. If you're finding yourself getting up multiple times at night, or if you've noticed you need to plan your day around bathroom access, it's worth paying attention. This isn't just an annoyance, it's a sign that your body is working overtime to manage something that shouldn't be there in the first place. And over time, this constant overwork can damage your kidneys, leading to more serious complications. The nighttime disruption is particularly important because it creates a vicious cycle. You wake up repeatedly, your sleep is fragmented, you don't get the deep, restorative rest your body needs. Poor sleep then raises stress hormones like cortisol, which in turn can further elevate your blood sugar. You end up in a loop where high blood sugar ruins your sleep, and poor sleep makes your blood sugar even harder to control. So what can you do about it? First, pay attention to your evening fluid intake. Drinking a lot of water right before bed is going to send you to the bathroom regardless of your blood sugar. But more importantly, look at your evening meals and snacks. That dessert after dinner, that bowl of ice cream while watching television, that late-night piece of fruit, all of these can cause blood sugar spikes that keep your kidneys working through the night. Try moving your last food intake to at least 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. Make your evening meal protein-rich and lower in carbohydrates. And if you're thirsty in the evening, sip water slowly rather than drinking large amounts at once. The fourth silent sign is perhaps the most alarming, but also the most temporary and reversible. It's blurred vision that comes and goes. Imagine you're reading a book or looking at a menu, and suddenly the words seem fuzzy. You blink, you rub your eyes, you maybe hold the menu farther away or closer. After a few minutes, or maybe after a meal, your vision clears up. It's easy to dismiss this as just needing new glasses or as eye strain. But when vision fluctuates throughout the day, it's often a sign that the shape of your eye's lens is actually changing. Here's the fascinating biology. Your eye contains a lens that focuses light onto the retina. That lens is surrounded by fluid. When your blood sugar is high, it actually changes the osmotic balance in that fluid, pulling water into the lens. The lens swells slightly. And when the lens changes shape, even microscopically, your ability to focus changes. You get blurry vision. Then, when your blood sugar comes back down, the fluid balance normalizes, the lens returns to its usual shape, and your vision clears up. This is why people with undiagnosed or poorly managed blood sugar often find themselves at the optometrist getting new glasses, only to find that 6 months later, those glasses don't seem to work anymore. The prescription keeps changing because the underlying blood sugar keeps fluctuating. If your vision seems to be getting better and worse throughout the day, or if you've needed multiple prescription changes in a short period, it's worth considering whether blood sugar might be the hidden factor. The beautiful thing about this particular sign is that it's reversible. As you stabilize your blood sugar, your lens will return to its normal shape and your vision will stabilize too. You may not need new glasses after all. You may just need to address what's happening with your metabolism. Now, here's something I want you to understand about all 4 of these signs. None of them, on their own, means you definitely have diabetes or even prediabetes. They're clues, not diagnoses. But when you see a pattern, afternoon crashes, sugar cravings, frequent urination, and fluctuating vision, that pattern is worth discussing with your doctor. A simple blood test, usually an A1C which measures your average blood sugar over 3 months, can tell you a lot. And catching things early is always better. But let's also talk about hope. Because the body that sends these signals is also a body that can heal. When you start eating in ways that support stable blood sugar, these symptoms often begin to fade. The energy crashes soften. The cravings quiet down. The nighttime trips become less frequent. Your vision steadies. Your body responds remarkably quickly when you give it what it needs. So let's move now from the signs to the solutions. What exactly should you eat to stabilize your blood sugar? Not a restrictive diet, not a list of forbidden foods, but real, delicious, satisfying foods that work with your body's natural rhythms. And the first category is one you probably already have in your kitchen, but maybe not in the way I'm about to describe. So now we arrive at the most hopeful part of our conversation. We've identified the whispers, the afternoon crashes, the sugar cravings, the nighttime trips to the bathroom, the fluctuating vision. We've understood what they mean. But understanding without action is like owning a map and never taking a single step. So let's talk about what to actually put on your plate. Let's talk about the foods that don't just fill you up, but that actively work to stabilize your blood sugar and quiet those whispers for good. The first category, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is fiber-rich vegetables, especially the non-starchy kind. Think of fiber as your blood sugar's best friend. When you eat fiber alongside other foods, especially carbohydrates, it does something remarkable. It forms a kind of mesh in your digestive tract that slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. Instead of a sudden flood of sugar that forces your pancreas to panic and release too much insulin, you get a gentle, steady trickle. Your body can handle a trickle. A trickle provides steady energy. A trickle doesn't crash. So what does this look like on your plate? It means making vegetables the foundation of your meals, not an afterthought. It means starting your lunch or dinner with a salad or a serving of roasted vegetables before you touch the rest of your food. It means adding spinach to your eggs in the morning, or bell peppers to your stir-fry, or zucchini to your pasta sauce. The goal is to crowd your plate with color. The most powerful vegetables for blood sugar are the ones that grow above ground. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Peppers, cucumbers, asparagus, green beans. These are low in sugar, high in fiber, and packed with nutrients that support every system in your body. They should take up half your plate at every meal. Now, the second category is one we've touched on before, but it deserves its own spotlight: high-quality protein at every meal. Protein does two things for blood sugar. First, like fiber, it slows down digestion. It takes longer for your stomach to break down protein than carbohydrates, so food stays with you longer, and sugar enters your bloodstream more gradually. Second, protein triggers the release of hormones that signal fullness to your brain. You feel satisfied longer, which means you're less likely to reach for that sugary snack an hour after eating. We've talked about eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, chicken, beans, and lentils. These are your tools. The key is distribution. Don't load all your protein onto dinner. Spread it out. A couple of eggs at breakfast. A serving of tuna or chicken at lunch. Fish or beans at dinner. Your body needs a steady supply throughout the day, not one massive dump at the end. The third category is one that surprises many people: healthy fats. For decades, we were taught that fat was the enemy. We bought low-fat this and fat-free that, not realizing that when you remove fat from food, you usually replace it with sugar or refined carbohydrates to make it taste good. And those refined carbs are exactly what spike your blood sugar. Healthy fats, think olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, actually help stabilize blood sugar. They slow down digestion even further, they provide satiety, and they don't raise blood sugar at all. Adding a drizzle of olive oil to your vegetables, a sprinkle of nuts on your yogurt, or half an avocado to your salad transforms a meal from blood sugar chaos to blood sugar stability. There's a simple formula I want you to remember. It's called the plate method, and it takes all the guesswork out of eating for stable blood sugar. Visualize your dinner plate. Divide it into 3 sections. Half the plate should be non-starchy vegetables, that's your fiber. 1/4 should be lean protein, your eggs, fish, chicken, beans. 1/4 can be complex carbohydrates, think sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, whole grain bread, or beans again if you're using them as your protein. Add a small amount of healthy fat, either in cooking or as a topping, and you have a meal designed for steady energy. Now, I want to talk about one more powerful tool that goes beyond just what you eat. It's the order in which you eat it. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but research has shown that eating your food in a specific sequence can significantly reduce the blood sugar spike from a meal. Here's the magic order: vegetables first, then protein and fat, then carbohydrates and sugars last. When you eat vegetables first, that fiber starts forming its protective mesh in your digestive tract right away. Then when the protein and fat arrive, they further slow things down. By the time the carbohydrates hit, your digestive system is processing everything at a more measured pace. The sugar from those carbohydrates enters your bloodstream gradually rather than all at once. Try it at your next meal. Eat your salad or your roasted vegetables first. Then your fish or chicken. Then your rice or potato. Even if you're eating exactly the same foods in exactly the same amounts, this simple reordering can make a meaningful difference in how your body handles them. I want to leave you with a thought that I hope settles deep into your heart. Your body is not your enemy. It's not betraying you with these symptoms. It's talking to you. It's been talking to you all along. The afternoon crashes, the cravings, the nighttime trips, the blurry vision, these are not punishments. They are messages. They are your body's way of saying, something is out of balance, and I need your help. You have the power to respond. Not with shame, not with guilt, not with punishment, but with kindness. With attention. With small, consistent choices that say, I hear you. I see you. I care for you. This isn't about perfection. It's not about never eating a cookie again or rigidly following rules that make you miserable. It's about awareness. It's about understanding the connection between what you eat and how you feel. It's about making small adjustments, adding vegetables, spreading out protein, eating in a different order, that compound over time into profound changes. Start with one meal today. Just one. Make that half-plate vegetables. Add a protein. Eat it in the right order. Notice how you feel an hour later, 2 hours later, all afternoon. That awareness is the foundation. From that foundation, you can build anything. I would love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in your own life? Have you tried any of these changes? What worked? What was challenging? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this conversation has been helpful, if it's given you new eyes for what your body might be telling you, please give this video a like. It helps this channel reach more people who could use this message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We're building something here, a community of people who believe that growing older doesn't mean growing sicker, that our bodies are wise, and that small, kind choices can create a life of vitality and joy. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for your willingness to listen, to learn, to care for yourself. You are worth every small effort. Here's to steady energy, clear vision, restful nights, and many, many vibrant years ahead.